it's me, Schlee. Welcome back for another MRE video. Today we're going to be trying out this Halal MRE. I've had several of these in the past and I tend to always like them. If you want to see my past reviews on these, I will link my playlist up above so you can check that out if you're interested. This main is lentils and masala sauce, so this one is a vegetarian ration. Those also tend to be pretty good. And this one was a gift from Amber, so you guys make sure and say thank you to Amber in the comments down below because without her, I would not have this video for you guys. And I think that's all I have to share about this one, so let's go ahead and open it up and see what happens. So this one is from Sapatco, and the date code on here is 2042, so the 42nd day of 2022, I'm guessing. Let's get this open. There's no peelable seal or anything, so we'll have Luke help us out. Right on top we have our main, halal lentils and masala sauce. I do like lentils, so I'm looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be pretty good. And I've had masala flavored things, I think one time before in my life, and I liked it, so I look forward to having that again. Ooh, we have an apple turnover, yum. I think I've had one of these before. It's kind of hard to remember, but either way, I think I'm gonna love this. It's from Bridgford right here in Statesville, North Carolina, so I always love that. Tropical punch flavored no fruit juice, not orange, so that's pretty cool. We have our toilet paper and our matches just in the ration. I've noticed that is a theme with these halal rations. The extras just tend to be in there as opposed to in an accessories pack. We've also got a nut and raisin trail mix, and I see M&Ms in the ingredients also for some added fun. We have cranberries. Here is the accessories packet. And what is this here? We have a Santa Fe Adobo mix. What is this? Okay, so this is kind of like a trail mix. There's peanuts and honey sesame chips in here. Almonds, pumpkin seeds, all right. So I'm thinking the adobe refers to the flavoring, which I'm really looking forward to because I love adobe chipotle type flavored things. But again, that's not something I have very often, so I'm very much excited about this. This is another reason I like these halal rations so much because they often have sides that you don't see in the regular standard rations, which is super fun. And lastly, in here we have the nutrition card, a little bit bent out of shape. But if anybody wants to see that, here it is. And we have our flameless ration heater. So as far as heating things up, I'm definitely gonna heat up the main and this apple turnover. I think those will go really well together. So let's get these heating up and then we'll open some other things. All right, that is in there and this thing is really singing. So let me put it off to the side. And now we wait. That ration heater sounds like it's working great, so I have no doubt that we're gonna have a piping hot main here in a few minutes. Let's get the accessories packet open next. Beautiful brown MRE spoon. I do still have beautiful brown MRE spoon stickers available in my merch shop if you're interested. I will link that above so you can check it out. We have a napkin as well as a little bit of salt. 2 packets of King packaging sugar, 2 packets of crushed red pepper. I'm a big fan of this also. And then some good old black pepper. And for anyone who's curious, the matches are white. Let's start the taste test off by mixing up this tropical punch drink. I think I've had this flavor maybe one other time. For me, it's pretty rare to get this, so let's see how I like it. Tropical punch is a very summery flavor, so this is perfect for this time of year. Oh, the color, can you guys see that? It's like fluorescent pink. Probably gonna be bright red. Yeah, I thought so. You can smell the powder right away. It has that high C type of tropical punch flavor. This one's giving me a bit of a hard time. You see it doesn't want to dissolve totally, but I'm no quitter, so I'm just gonna keep on stirring. Okay, that's better. Now let's give this a taste. That's pretty good. I see where they were going with the tropical punch flavor, but to me this really tastes more like a strawberry lemonade, which is great because I love lemonade. It's quite tart, which I was not expecting. I was pretty sure this was going to be really sweet, but it's actually not. And this water is cold, which makes this very refreshing. I like this. This is now pretty high on my list of favorite MRE drinks. Next up, I want to save this adobe mix for last. So we're going to put this off to the side. So let's open this nut and raisin trail mix. We have an oxygen absorber, which I will take out and save for later. This is quite the mix in here. Okay, we've got walnuts, an M&M that has seen better days. Actually, the M&Ms in here are a little bit roughed up, ain't they? We have peanuts. Here are the raisins, and I thought I saw a macadamia nut in here. Yeah, there it is, aka a filbert. Oh, and almonds, can't forget those. And I think that is everything. Yeah, I think I got the only whole M&M in here. The rest of them are in little shards, or they are just totally pulverized. There's a lot of chocolate powder in here. Interesting, I'm very surprised that the M&Ms did not fare better. Here's a close-up of that mix. So again, M&Ms, raisins, walnuts, macadamia nuts, almonds, and peanuts. All right, let's give this a taste. I'm gonna try it all at once to mix up all the flavors. Let's see if I can do this gracefully. That is a good trail mix, wow. First off, it tastes super fresh, which is always appreciated. Secondly, the peanuts and the M&Ms combine to make this delicious chocolatey peanut butter flavor, which covers up most everything else. I got a little bit of walnut flavor. I actually did not taste the raisin at all now that I'm thinking about it, but definitely chocolate and peanut butter. Those were the two main flavors. I'm gonna try raisin by itself because I'm actually really surprised I did not taste this at all in the first bite. These are some very mildly flavored raisins. The texture is just right for a raisin. It has that gummy, sort of resistant, sticky texture to it. That's all well and good. But the raisin flavor is extremely subdued. It actually does not come out until the very end. And then it's very faint. So that explains why I did not really taste it during that first bite, because I'm sure it was covered up by the chocolate flavor. That is interesting. I've never had that happen with raisins before. As you guys know, I'm not a huge raisin fan. And normally I find they overpower other flavors, but in this case, they are barely even there. There are definitely more peanuts than anything else in here, but I'm okay with that because I love the type of peanut they use in these mixes. These are just roasted peanuts, by the way. There's no salt on them that I can detect. So overall, the trail mix is not really salty, but it's quite savory and a little bit sweet, so it's a nice balance. I'm gonna open these cranberries next, and I'm definitely gonna put some of these in the trail mix. But for the rest of them, I saved a little bit of my drink powder mix. I'm gonna mix those two together. Okay, let's pour some of these out. That's enough. And these are extremely standard, just just cranberries, sunflower oil, and sugar, I should say. There you go. As usual, these are good, nice and tart, good cranberry flavor. They have been sweetened considerably, so they don't have that stark tartness that cranberries are known for, but they're not overly sweetened. So I'm gonna fix that by pouring drink powder over them. If they weren't overly sweet before, they're about to be. And because of the sunflower oil on the cranberries, the powder should stick to them really well. Yeah, that looks just about perfect. They got really well coated. So you guys can see, that drink mix sticks so well to these. Now it's time to try our enhanced cranberries. This is a good combination, but I'm not sure I like it better than the plain cranberries. Mixing these two things gives you a sort of Sour Patch Kid effect where you get a kind of sour bite on the outside, but the inside of the cranberry is still really nice and soft and chewy. So this gives you some variety as opposed to just having the plain dried fruit at least. That being said, maybe it's just that the tropical punch mix doesn't go super well with the cranberry flavor. I do think a lemonade powder packet would go super well with this. That would be a great combination. This is by no means bad, but I would probably not mix these next time. Speaking of mixing, I totally forgot to mix some plain cranberries into my trail mix. Oh well, we'll just mix it now because why not? Let's see if I can find an M&M remnant in here. Okay, so here's another bite of trail mix with the powdered cranberries on there, so let's try this. I don't like that combination at all. And it's specifically because the chocolate from the M&Ms and the drink powder mix that's on the cranberries clashes terribly, which is a shame because you think that enhancing the cranberries with the drink powder and then mixing them in with the trail mix would make it better. but no. Sometimes simplicity is best, okay? So if you are gonna mix the drink powder and the cranberries, keep them separate from the trail mix. Just enjoy this by itself. The plain cranberries, though, I think would go super well in this mix. I don't see how they could possibly be a problem. And now for the moment that all Schlees have been waiting for, we're gonna find out about this Santa Fe adobe mix. I'm really imagining this to be some kind of sweet and spicy or smoky type of trail mix, which is great for me because I used to love a Cajun trail mix. I used to eat that all the time. I have since broken my addiction, but we may be seeing a relapse shortly. So this looks very similar to the aforementioned Cajun trail mix I used to eat all the time. Oh, and Cajun seasoning is actually an ingredient. What do you know? Let's dive in. So we've got these little crackers, some corn sticks, I think, as well as pieces of dried corn, some almonds, very large almonds, peanuts, oops, and the pumpkin seeds, that's right. These peanuts actually still have the skin on there. That's interesting because these have been derobed, but not these peanuts. Okay, I think I got one of everything. All right, here be a close-up for y'all so you can see all the bits and bobs. Pumpkin seed is in the middle there. I don't know if you can see it. Since I've never had this before, I'm gonna try each piece individually and then I'll have a mega bite at the end. Let's start off with the corn stick. It's good. That was a good stick of corn. And I can definitely feel the spice already just from that one bite. Really nice corn stick though, nice and crunchy, really good corn flavor. Try the almond next. Also good, but it seemed to have a lot less of that smoky, spicy spice mix than the corn stick did, which is interesting. You'd think that everything would be evenly coated. Dried corn up next. Really good, nice and crunchy. Let's try the pumpkin seed. I have had these before. I'm not a huge fan of regular pumpkin seeds, like plain ones, so we'll see if they are enhanced by the Cajun trail mix. It's much better. Honestly, I don't really taste the pumpkin seed flavor if it has one. I just taste the spicy trail mix seasoning. Next up, our little peanut half. And last but not least, this should be our honey crackers. So this should be where the sweetness pops in. There was some honey to that, but it tasted to me more heavily of the trail mix mixture, spice mixture, and of soy sauce. I got a little bit of a honey sweetness at the beginning, but it was quickly overpowered by that soy sauce flavor and the spicy smoky flavor. Not bad by any means, but I did think it would be a little bit sweeter. Now let's get a bite with everything in it to get the real flavor in here. All right, here we go. Yeah, mixing all those together is unsurprisingly the best thing to do. When you do that, it brings out the sweetness in the honey crackers, and it also gives that spiciness a chance to sort of distribute over the other ingredients, instead of it being concentrated if you eat one piece at a time. I gotta say, this is one of my new favorites as far as sides and MREs. I love the Cajun seasoning, and especially these corn sticks. These are just amazing. Give me a whole bag of those. Yeah, this is really nice, and it's so fun to see new things that I haven't had before in these rations. And I just thought of this too. If you don't like the spiciness or if it's a little bit too much for you, you can always mix these two together and dilute that spiciness. Because I don't think these would clash, because just the sweetness from the M&Ms and the raisins may stand out, but I think it would be fine. So there's another option for you if you want to have more variety. Okay, this feels nice and hot, so I think it's time to get our main out. I'm gonna leave the apple turnover in there so it'll stay as warm as possible until dessert time. Definitely gotta knead this up because one end of this is burning hot and the other one not so burning hot. When it comes to my MRE temperatures, I'm like Goldilocks, it's gotta be just right. All right, I think we can open this now and see what treasures await us inside. Okay, thankfully that one opened without the knife. Okay, a lot of turmeric in there. I was expecting it to be red for some reason, but it's this really bright yellow, almost orange color. It smells really nice. So in here we have, of course, the lentils. We also have some carrots and some onion and some tomato paste, along with all the spices. There's a glamour shot. I must say, not the most appealing looking food, but of course, as we all know, looks are not the only thing that matters. They just matter the most. Well, let's give this a taste, see how it is. It's pretty good. First off, it is the perfect temperature. That was a great FRH. The lentils are cooked really nicely. They're quite soft, a little bit of resistance here and there with a couple of the lentils, but mainly they're very soft. The flavor is good. It's very savory, very rich. There's a lot of soybean oil in here, so that's gonna add to the richness. I will say off the bat, this needs some salt, and I'm not detecting any spice, so I'm gonna doctor this up now. Let's go for the salt first. And I'll probably put this whole packet in here just because this is not salty at all, from what I can tell. Let's try the salted version. That helps a lot, really brings things to life, and it actually makes the lentils taste a little bit more like pinto beans. I still think this needs some spice, so we're gonna go in with this crushed red pepper. Adding the salt and the crushed red pepper is definitely the way to go. The spice from the crushed red pepper actually brings out the sweetness in the onions in here, which I was not expecting. But I like that. It adds a lot of flavor, a lot of depth of flavor, and makes this taste more homemade in my opinion. I just remembered there's no meat in this main. Sometimes I find vegetarian mains to be lacking in substance or in flavor, but definitely not this one. The salt is really bringing out the garlic flavor in here as well. I didn't really taste that at first without the extra seasonings, but now it is out in full force. I do want to try mixing some of the trail mix in here. Not just for flavor, but also for crunch, because this meal is, I mean, it's very soft. There's not really any variety in texture. So I think it could benefit from this. I'm gonna add some of my favorite little corn sticks. I think they'll go very well. Okay, let's see how that tastes. It looks promising. All right, here we go. Cajun masala lentils. That's actually so good. I'm gonna have another bite. So I'm a little bit shocked by how good that was. I was mixing those pretty much just for fun to see what would happen. It's actually delicious. And I think what it is these little corn sticks. First of all, they add a different spiciness, a more smoky spiciness, but they also take the place of a naan bread, which I think would be served with this traditionally. Of course, naan bread is soft and these are crunchy, but the element of breadiness is still there. And that just, wow, that takes this to a whole nother level. Plus it adds a pleasant crunch. I will say I should have tried the trail mix in here before adding the red pepper because now it's a little bit too spicy for me, but that's okay, I'm just gonna power through. Well, so far I am beyond impressed with the main, and it is time for dessert, which I think I'm also gonna really like. Okay, here we have our Bridgford apple turnover, which is nicely warmed. So let's get this open and see what I think. There it is. Okay, seeing this, I'm pretty sure I've had this before. Here's an up-close shot for you guys. So it's like this little pocket, almost like a hot pocket or something like that. Huge flecks of cinnamon, you guys see those? And it's nice and soft. Let me break it open. Ooh, and there's the apple filling. It smells so good. It smells like a cinnamon roll to me more than an apple pie. I really just smell cinnamon and brown sugar. But with the amount of filling in here, I'm sure I will taste the apples. So let's try that. Oh man, this is so good. This is delightful. Okay, let me stop eating for a second and give you guys a review on this. The apple flavor does come through. It did not come through as a smell, I'm not sure why, but the taste is there. And I think these are Granny Smith apples. I'm pretty sure, like 99.9% sure they're Granny Smith apples. They have that tartness and that texture, that sort of al dente texture. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but the apples are not totally soft, if you guys know what I mean. And this filling is so rich. There's so much cinnamon, and there is a lot of brown sugar, but it's not overpowering, and I think it's because of the bread. The bread, where there are no pockets of brown sugar and cinnamon, it's kind of bland, just very lightly sweetened with a hint of vanilla. So that sort of absorbs any extra cinnamon brown sugar flavor in the bites. So what you end up with is this perfectly balanced dessert, which deserves like a place on the MRE Wall of Fame. I'll have to take down my Cheetos and replace it with this. Y'all know I don't drink coffee, but again, I recognize this would be great with a cup of coffee or even a cup of hot tea. This is absolutely fantastic. I am so looking forward to eating the rest of this. My one complaint, the edges are just a little bit dry. It's still perfectly edible. Okay guys, that is it. I have tried everything from this halal ration. This was a good one. It was a lot of fun and it was so tasty. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys!